Hello and welcome to Top Story. Well, after the White House and a Red Sea resort, the high-stakes diplomatic roadshow known as the Middle East peace talks is moving on to Jerusalem. 2 weeks after they began, the first direct talks between Israeli and Palestinian leaders in 20 months are entering a critical phase. And as they do, the pressure is building on the agenda setter, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. She and her boss, Barack Obama, have a lot riding on these talks. They see them as the last best hope for peace. But this being the Mideast, the road between words and deeds, as we all know, can often be very long and arduous. Are we seeing hints of progress, or is any talk of hope merely wishful thinking, a sort of pipe dream? Well, here to discuss today is my guest, Ofer Bronchtein. Good morning. You're the president of the Forum for Peace and Reconciliation in the Middle East. That's a very tough job, not just the title, especially at this moment in time. The protagonists are now all moving on to Jerusalem, but the talks themselves remain very much stuck on one issue, and it seems to be the West Bank settlements. Do you see any hope of progress there?
First of all, I don't think that the talks are only on the issue of the settlements. I think that we have a variety of issues to deal with and to resolve in the next few days, few weeks, few months. I am very happy to see this talk taking place. I saw the ambience a few days ago in Washington. It was the beginning of breaking the ice, and I see it again yesterday. It was already more warm, more personal between the two leaders. The message that we are sending out, it's a message: we are into business, we are talking, we are trying to find ways to get closer, and this is a very important message. We were expecting it for a long time. And let's not forget, it's true that we can be cynical. Then 17 years ago already, day by day, we signed the historical agreement of the Oslo Agreement in the White House.
The 1993
in 1993, the 13th of September. And it's true that a long time took. We spent a long time and too many victims. But at the same time, we have a right-wing government in Israel, and we have a Palestinian president of the National Authority in Palestine who are determined to make a difference. It's the first time that the right-wing and the extreme right government in Israel recognize the right of the Palestinians to an independent and free state, which is very important. And it's very important that Netanyahu will be the one to go forward in the peace process, because he is going to get the backing not only of part of his own coalition, but of all the opposition, if he's going to go in the right way.
Sure, but they
propose the settlements to deal
with. Sure, I'll let you address that.
The 26th or the 27th of September, it's a deadline for the end of the froze of the
moratorium. Exactly.
The moratorium. Yeah. What will be how Netanyahu can get out of it, and I believe that he's doing so in the last few hours and in the next few one as well, is by explaining to the Palestinians, which they agree to, that the big settlements around Jerusalem will be anyway in a final agreement signed between Israel and the Palestinians. You have 3, 4, 5% of the land seized in 1967 that will be kept by Israel, where some big settlements exist.
Possible compromise,
and it will be a swatch of territories.
Okay, but let me ask.
That will be the compromise. Israel will be built only in those settlements.
Only in those three main settlement blocks. And I understand that, but the question being, some of the political talk this week from the Palestinian side, from Mahmoud Abbas, has been very tough. For them, right now, even one extra settlement being built seems to be too much. They're threatening to walk.
From their point of view, as people who just arrived to the negotiation table a few days ago, they are absolutely right to put the RAF very high, to say we don't want to see settlements altogether.
So it's a negotiating tactic. They're not going to walk.
Tactic. The Palestinian Authority, led by Mahmoud Abbas, know very well. When they're saying we want this talk to start wherever they were resumed by former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, they know that in the talk with Olmert, it was clear that 5 to 6% of the territory seized in 1967 will be kept by Israel in exchange of the same amount of territory that will be given to the Palestinians.
So in your view, there is the outlines of this understanding, even if they're not saying so publicly at this point, that some of those settlement blocks will remain in Israeli hands.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, though. Both of these leaders coming to these talks in a very weak position. A lot of people would say this is the worst possible leaders at the worst possible time to be engaging in peace talks.
And it's exactly what we need. We need two leaders that have everything to lose if they don't go forward. We need two leaders that don't have another alternative than to bring a peace deal to their own people. That's the only way for them to be stronger. They don't have another way.
But do they have the clout to push through these issues?
I do believe that they do. Mahmoud Abbas, and we saw it yesterday, the talk took place in Egypt, is being pushed, sponsored, helped, assisted by many Arab countries like Jordan and Egypt, and were with him in Washington 10 days ago. The Arab League initiative is still on the table. If Israel and the Palestinians will go forward in the peace talk, and I believe that they can and they will in the next few days, few weeks, the Arab League and other Arab countries will be supportive of this process as well. So they can get out of this process reinforced politically.
Reinforced. The Arab countries helping out, you say, Abbas, but they face very significant forces on the other side. In Netanyahu's case, the radical right and the settlers. And in Abbas's case, Hamas and Palestinian military.
And it's not easy.
Those are strong forces.
Very strong forces. Very well organized, very well financed in both sides, and they will do everything possible to derail this process. We saw already the last few days, every day, the Hamas is striking missiles on the south of Israel, something that we did not see the last 2 years, but they're doing so now. And we saw already the settlers threatening, doing action against the Palestinian, against the Israeli army. They are going to do everything possible with extremist groups to derail these talks.
So why shouldn't they be able to succeed in torpedoing these talks where stronger Israeli leaders and Palestinian leaders have failed?
I believe that what we need today, and I hope that we will see it, it's a strong determination of Mahmoud Abbas as a Palestinian political leader and of Mr. Bibi Netanyahu as an Israeli leader to go into history to be the one that brought peace talk. And I believe that we will get all the support they need from their own people, majority of their own people, the international community, the Arab moderate country, and the United States of America. They have to seize the opportunity to go forward with determination and with political courage. I think that we can achieve it.
Netanyahu himself is a curious figure, an interesting figure, right? He is on the one hand beholden to his to the radical right, to his coalition. He really sees himself, though, according to his own words, he sees himself as a peacemaker. He seems to earnestly believe it. I mean, does he?
I think so. Listen, we had already another example in the Israeli peace history. It's Menachem Begin. When Menachem Begin came into power, representing the right-wing extremist coming from terrorist organization prior of the creation of the State of Israel, a very determined man to protect all the land of Israel. He was the first Israeli leader to sign a peace treaty with an Arab country. It was Egypt, then Bad opens the way for all the other Arab countries and for the Palestinians to start negotiating with Israel. So it was a right-wing, extremist right-wing leader that signed the first peace treaty with an Arab country. I believe that Netanyahu has the same profile of a man is determined to serve his country, is determined to serve his people. He knows that at this point in history he has to be courageous and to do the right thing. I hope he's going to do them. But you're right. Some people who analyze Netanyahu are saying exactly the opposite. He's a right-wing ideologist. He's not going to give up. It's only a question of saving time and using and abusing his partner. Nothing will come out of it. I want to believe that he's going to be the Israeli leader and Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian leader, that will sign a peace treaty.
Over Bronchtein, we've unfortunately run out of time. We're going to have you come back to talk about borders, security, refugees, water, everything else. Lots of issues before these players. Talks moving to Jerusalem today. We will be following them closely in the days and weeks ahead.
Happy holidays for my Jewish friend and the Muslim friend. As you know, it's the New Year's for the Jews. And
You've just done so. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for being our guest today, Ofer Bronchtein, and thank you very much for watching Top Story this morning.